Hey everybody, Gisele Grenier here. This is take 3. AC is on, stupid headset is on. What I did in the first 2 videos was I hit the remote to record to this microphone that's here, not to the microphone connected to the laptop, because this doesn't pick up a lot of the AC. So 2 complete videos with no audio. Then the second take was, I forgot to hit record and blah, 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 blah. And I started going. What did I do? Forgot to hit record again. So we got one project already done. So I'm doing it again. Jeez, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. So I'm creating a series of meditation stones and little miniature canvases as part of an art abandonment project. So what that is, you create small art, you bag it up, you don't sign it, you put a little tag on there, and then you leave it out for somebody to find and then take home. And I leave mine out where the tourists are because we waterfall capital of the world. So I leave them out at the waterfalls and be done with it. So on the table, let me just show you what I started doing. So I've got a little one here with a little owl, and so what I did on this one here is I just took another stamp. I've got a little owl stamp, and I got a little which was a little butterfly stamp here. That's the little owl. So I stamped it on some dictionary paper, and then I just collaged it to a little random background. So what I thought I would do then on this one here is, well, this one's yellow, so why don't I just work with this one being whatever's in my brush. So taking the colors, and it depends on what you want to use. I can, just by applying the paint and then wiping it off with a baby wipe creates a stain, so you can do it like that. So what the ideal thing is when you're creating a stain type of application on a canvas, first of all, you need to know whether or not you want to gesso it or not, because the gesso will help the paint stick. And what you don't want to do is add water to the paint to make it super thin, because it'll break down the strength of the pigment. So if this piece that you're working on is unprimed, or let's say it's really rough and you want it smooth, so what you can do is you can apply some gesso. So I would use the Decor Art Media gesso, apply it really thin, sand it, let it dry. So depending on how smooth that you want it, especially for stamping. So you want to make your final layer really smooth. Then when taking the paint, creating that transparent paint, even though the paints I'm using are more semi-transparent, I'm using Naphthol Red Light, Pearl Orange, and Hansa Yellow Medium of the Decor Art Media Fluid Acrylics, it's not transparent enough because I just want it as a stain. So I use the matte medium instead of water to really make it transparent, and that won't break down the strength of the pigment. So you can see that it's now dried a little bit darker, and do I want to do something else? Well, let's say if I took more red, because I'm not a fan of orange. And let's just go here, and you can see that it is quite transparent. That's pure. Okay, and then I've got it with the medium. And although it looks cloudy here because it's a matte medium, that's not the way it's going to go onto the canvas. It's going to be a stain. I mean, you can make these like really, really bright if you want. With the art abandonment pieces, you really have, there's no rules. I mean, that's transparent and that's pure. There are no rules when it comes to doing the painting, other than paint what you want. Just make it small so when somebody picks it up that they're not having to struggle to bring it home, they can just put it in their pocket. I think the biggest thing when you're creating pieces like that is the varnish, because depending on the weather here, OMFG, it's so unpredictable and super hot. Well, by the waterfalls, we've got the humidity, and if it rains, whatever. So I like using the Duraclear varnish for all my pieces, because it's indoor and outdoor. And I just realized that I'm not talking in the right order. Sorry, this was already all done. So putting a little bit more yellow here, right in the middle. Then I'm going to take my baby wipe and blot, 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 blot. That creates a modeled look. There we go. And then I'll just get my little flat brush. And it's up to you whether you want to stain the paper. I'm going to leave it the way it is, just to show a different version. because once you put that down, the paper gets wet. It will become a little bit more transparent. I don't know if you can see this. As I'm painting, it's a little bit of give there because the frame is so small. So what to do is just spray the back of the canvas, and after a few minutes this will tighten up like a drum. Because the canvas is already primed, then the water's not going to soak through the paper and dissolve the collage. But if it was unprimed, then yeah, you'd have to be careful. I'm just going to spread that out a little bit, flatten out that bubble. I can also push my finger here, push on there, and that was nice and flat. So basically that's all there is to creating a little art abandonment piece. You just create simple little things like this. And then this little piece here, let's say I can turn around and just pick up a little bit more of the red, and I can go here, or just use the yellow, or use the orange. Let's see, we'll make it psychedelic. Actually, that's not bad like that. The orange isn't bad like that. I am so not a fan of orange. I keep telling my students, they're calling me out on it, saying, if you're not a fan of orange, you should really work outside the box to you know, to break out of that. Yeah. Yeah, we're just a little bit of a model here and there. You can take a little bit of that paint and just do a little vignette. It's nothing overly fancy. Like that. Now this piece already had a layer of matte medium on top, so that's why I was able to rub the paper without it falling apart. And then I could just wipe out a little bit there. And there we go. So in this one here, what can I do with it? Well, I can do the same thing, but I can use red. If I want to use red on the outside, doesn't really matter. And then let them dry. So once they're dry, then I'll come in with the Duraclear varnish and put a varnish. I won't sign them because the whole thing of art abandonment is anonymous art. I'll put 3 coats of the Duraclear varnish, and I like doing these in batches, and just do varnish, 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 and then by the time I get to the first one, it'll be dry. Varnish, varnish, and 3 layers, front and back, and that way it's ready to go. So there you go. So 2 simple little easy peasy projects. Now another thing that what you can do is a collaboration piece. So if you had some kids or some teens or an activity, everybody does their own little canvas, and then what you can do is you can mount it onto a smaller board. So let me just take 2 other little pieces that I've done, and let's just move this out of the way. So a little collaboration piece. Now these are they're completely independent, but if you did them all in the same style, then you could glue them onto a little piece of masonite, and then that becomes the art that you leave out. So one thing I'm going to do is these little miniature seascapes. I'm going to create 4 and then mount that, and that will be the actual piece I'm giving away. So that's just a little idea that you can use to create some art and just pay it forward and just give it to somebody who will enjoy it. Alrighty, that's it. Super easy, and this little project should only have taken under 10 minutes to do, but take 3, and yeah, the audio is recording. So here we go. Thank you. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'd like to see your versions of this. So in the description below, hop on over to the community, post your pictures, and see what everybody else is doing. I think I'm done for the day. All right. So until I see you next time, stay inspired.